It's been more than 10 years since their formation, and now is as apt a time as any to discuss One Direction's influences and the impact they left on the state of modern music. The Guardian has compared the hysteria of their teenage fandom to that of Beatlemania, with their hits as both a group and solo artists surpassing that of the iconic 60s rock band in sales. And a comparison so great seems to indicate the band themselves have left an immense mark on pop culture. Yet, the countless allegations and legal proceedings against the band for copyright infringement since their 2010 formation permeates their short-lived but intense cultural history. And this begs a question. Are One Direction geniuses, with their 36 million worldwide sales, owed to this brilliance? Or are they actually just rip-offs? To begin, let's take a look at One Direction's biggest hit from their 2012 debut album, Up All Night, and its peculiar influence, Summer Nights from Greece. The resemblance here is uncanny, a theme that will carry through the rest of this video as we examine particularly similarities between old classics like Summer Nights and One Direction's recontextualized opening riffs. But apart from the main riff, the two songs aren't too similar. In fact, critics have even drawn similarities between What Makes You Beautiful and other tracks such as Pink's Raise Your Glass and McFly's All About You. It's also important to note that the song was not written nor produced by One Direction, but rather infamous writers Savan Kotecha, Carl Falk and Rami, who between them have written some of Demi Lovato, Katy Perry, Ariana Grande and of course One Direction's biggest hits. When asked about the curious similarities in some of their songs, here's how the band responded.
Like the first single, where the opening riff
Sounds
similar to a certain film.
I assume that it must be quite difficult to do a unique riff now because there's been so many songs. Yeah. Surely there's only so many riffs you can pull out, no?
Yeah, I think it's kind of on purpose though, it's a great riff, so.
This statement was also in response to allegations that the band ripped off another song, The Clash's 1982 track, Should I Stay or Should I Go? As Styles cheekily admitted to the Associated Press, this one was kind of on purpose. Undeniably, as Harry states, The Clash's iconic riff is great. It's so catchy it sticks in your head for days, with the percussive muted stroking of the strings making for a distinct and instantly recognizable riff. Live While We're Young is also written by Rami, Kotecha and Falk, yet the four members of The Clash are also credited, clearly recognizing their contribution. Perhaps this was the intention of 1D's golden trio of songwriters, to introduce a new generation of fans, some of whom may never have even heard of The Clash, to this iconic riff. Because the writers of Should I Stay or Should I Go receive songwriting credit and presumably a portion of the royalties, maybe this one gets a pass, but the riff could hardly be considered genius on One Direction's part. Whilst we're on the topic of iconic songs and riffs, the similarity between One Direction's aptly named highest charting single, Best Song Ever, and Baba O'Riley by The Who must be addressed. A 2013 article details the outrage surrounding the resemblance of Best Song Ever to Baba O'Riley, which was catalysed by a Click music critic who stated, since Sony decided to recruit some of the most creatively barren songwriters in the industry, we find the 1D team resorting to plagiarism once again, as The Who's Baba O'Riley is sterilised and repackaged for fans who probably don't know any better. Producer Julian Bonetta struck back when talking to MTV, defending the song. He said, "We weren't saying, okay, let's rip off Baba O'Riley. At a certain point we recognised it had the same type of intro where there's a synth and a piano, but we really tried to make sure that there was no intellectual property stolen or anything like that." Fans were outraged at the accusation, stating, One Direction concert is much bigger than The Who's, so I guess they want publicity, and seriously, can some kind of soul tell me, who is The Who? I bet they are worse than The Wanted. But Pete Townsend, The Who's lead guitarist and second vocalist, took it all in good stead and put it best by saying, "I like the single. I like One Direction. The chords I use and the chords they use are the same 3 chords we've all been using in basic pop music since Buddy Holly, Eddie Cochran, and Chuck Berry made it clear that fancy chords don't mean great music. Not always. I'm still writing songs that sound like Baba O'Reilly, or I'm trying to. It's a part of my life and a part of pop's lineage. One Direction are in my business with a million fans, and I'm happy to think that they may have been influenced a little bit by The Who. Why would I not be happy about this kind of tribute?" As is made so clear time and time again, copyright infringement lawsuits are often not in the best interest of artists themselves, but studios and producers desperate to squeeze as many profits out of songs as possible. There's no bad blood between The Who and One Direction. In fact, Townsend sounds quite happy and is also a credited writer of the track. But onto another, even more blatantly copied song, We Will Rock You by Queen. Unashamed even in its title, songwriter Sam Hollander's idea was for it to be Rock Me instead of Rock You, with the melody following shortly after. Another writer for the song, Alan Grigg, explained his decision for its mid-tempo beat resembling Queen's song in a 2012 Times article, stating, "If you can slow a song down to mid-tempo, the girls are just gonna lose their minds." Perhaps this serves as another rationale for the band's consistent lifting of successful rock music of the past. Its success, especially on the part of boy bands with young female audiences, cannot be understated and has in fact already been proven. Funnily enough, the song's lyrics state, "Do you remember Summer '09? Wanna go back there every night?" which also bears eerie resemblance to Bryan Adams' Summer of '69. One Direction themselves have even recognised 80s rock as a major influence on their work.
Who are your biggest musical influences for the new album? Kind of.
Anyone go? Specific references, were they?
Kind of 80s rock and rollers. Yeah, I guess.
And on the topic of 80s rock and rollers, here's a few other influences we found. Let us know in the comments what you think, intentional or not.
Jessie is a friend. Yeah. He knows about you in every way. He's memorized every part of your face. I live for you, I long for you, Olivia. I've been out and lost in the light in your eyes, Olivia.
So, in light of these influences, what do you think? Are One Direction as a collective, including producers and writers, rip-offs or geniuses? There's plenty more examples to be found, and this video has a specific focus on the way the band took successful rock songs and recontextualized them for a new generation of fans. If I'm being honest, I grew up right in the peak of One Direction's fame, but always had a strange dislike of their music, which is funny seeing as their influences align so closely with the music that I love. So perhaps my opinion is biased when I say that I feel in this case they lean more closely to rip-off. One Direction's writers were intensely aware of what makes a song culturally significant and were able to replicate this to a T. But it's also important to note that in most cases, only the main riff was copied. The melodies usually varied greatly with different lyrics and subject matter. But it feels as though the riffs are the core of many of these songs. They get stuck in your head and keep you coming back for more, just like the originals. We made the first Rip-Off or Genius video over 9 months ago, and the algorithm has somehow turned it into our most successful. It also helped us hit 1,000 subscribers, and we'd like to do a Q&A to celebrate, so if you have any questions, please leave them below. Aside from that though, it sparked some really interesting discussion in the comments. What does it mean to be original? Aren't all bands just recycling what came before them? One popular comment quoted Pablo Picasso saying, "Lesser artists borrow, greater artists steal." Do you think this applies to One Direction? Let us know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, let us know what you think in the comments down below. I'd really love to hear your thoughts. And please share if you enjoyed the video. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!